This channel is sponsored by Pro Football Focus. NFL, college, and fantasy data for every player, every play, every game. Visit ProFootballFocus.com to learn more. Welcome back to our Prospect Spotlight mini-series inside the New Orleans Saints franchise for season number 1. We are back with our second episode on linebackers and our third overall Prospect Spotlight video. We covered a lot in our first one, but we have some big names in this one, and we'll start off with Doral Echols out of Clemson. He's 6'3", 235, and Echols is not exactly a big hitter, but he is a really talented player. He's a surefire tackler. He's good at getting off the blocks, even though sometimes he'll get tripped up because of his weight, being only 235, but he is a good man in coverage, pretty much. He has pretty good pursuit, and he has pretty good instincts as a whole. He was the star on this Clemson defense, and as you can see why. Like I said, not a big hitter, but he can penetrate in pass rush. He can make some big hits, but he's not someone who's always looking for the big hit. He's a guy who's a very good wrap tackler, one of the best tacklers in this draft class. He only missed about 3 tackles in his past 2 seasons, which is very, very impressive. But as much as I like Doral Echols, he is my 7th best linebacker on the board. And now we're going to move on to a dynamic duo in Notre Dame. We have John Hastings and Frank Esponda, who played next to each other. They are respectively my 2nd and 3rd best middle linebacker prospects. Hastings comes in 6'2", 237 at 22 years old, and he's a prototypical linebacker. Esponda, 5'11", 243 at 22 years old, is a little bit more of that big hitter thumper type. He's not as good in coverage as Hastings, but he's a very talented player still. The main differences between the two: Hastings, he tackles well, he hits hard, and he gets off blocks, and he's fast. Esponda is a guy who hits really hard and tackles well, so he has a good combination of either. His pursuit's a little bit lacking, and his coverage skills are a little bit lacking. And his height's a little bit of a concern, but he's a really talented player. Both are really good, and I think Hastings, who is a projected second-round pick, would be the better of the two prospects. Just a little bit more athletic, a little bit taller, a little bit lighter in the frame. But Esponda is still definitely a guy who is a projected first-round pick to be a very talented linebacker. Both of them have a great future, and they were a dynamic duo at ND for the past couple seasons. Hastings' biggest issue right now is just man-to-man coverage, it seems. He has a pretty good feel for zone, but man is something that he needs to work on a little bit, and if he can do that, he can become an all-around dominant linebacker. Next up, we have Tavares Peters. Peters is an interesting story because he's 24 years old, and we don't have tape of him from his current school, Lafayette. He got hurt in his junior year, his true junior year at Georgia, and he ended up transferring to Lafayette after his scholarship was not kept intact because it was a really serious injury. And he decided to transfer to Lafayette, get a chance to play, as he did lose an opportunity to actually play on Georgia's team. But he's 6 foot, he's 254 pounds as kind of a thumper, so he does struggle at getting around the edge a little bit, but he is the best tackler in this draft class by far. He's a guy who, if he can get you kind of squared up into his range, he will make a play and he will not miss. He literally is the best tackler. He's a projected second-round pick, but the combination of his age and the injury history, plus the fact that he's 254 pounds, is a bit of a turnoff for Tavares Peters. Definitely going to be an interesting story, and he's a feel-good story considering he came back from injury and has been able to return to form a little bit. But you have to wonder how much that torn Achilles tendon in his left leg is impacting his mobility and his running ability as a linebacker. As you can see, he wasn't even the fastest before, but with this, it's a little bit more concerning. Our second to last prospect is indeed Kevin Linder. Linder out of USC is 6'5", 235, but that's really it. He's 22 years old. He's not a very good player, but he is a freak of nature. He flies around the field. He doesn't have a lot of instincts to him per se, and he's not exactly a technical player, but he's a good player, and he can get the job done in terms of his ability to blitz a little bit. He can lay the boom into people, but his real best trait is how hard he hits and the fact that he's so big and so fast. Seeing a 6'5" middle linebacker standing over the middle, is always intimidating no matter what. He's my 14th best linebacker prospect in this draft because he is so raw, but he has the physical upside to potentially be something special under the right coaching staff. Another thing to mention, he's a walk-on at USC as he had never played football before his time in Southern California. So last up we have Perry Creighton, and Creighton is my 19th best linebacker. He's the last one. He's projected third round pick from Oklahoma State. He's 6'3", 243 at 23 years old, but Perry Creighton is really one of those guys who is more so a good college player, and I don't think he'll actually be a good NFL player or even an average NFL player. I think he's probably very limited in terms of his capability. He's a fan favorite and he's a team leader, so he has some of the mental and intangible aspects to him, but outside of that, Perry Creighton, I just don't think he has what it takes to be a really good NFL player or even a serviceable MLB in the NFL. I mean, he's not a very big hitter, not a very good tackler, not very instinctual as a player, but he's a leader and he's a great member in the locker room. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Our next prospect spotlight this Friday will be on cornerbacks. I'll be talking to you guys later. Peace out, Franchise Nation.